is back on top once again. The Spurs are the 2014 NBA champions.
Kawhi Leonard, you are the 2014 Bill Russell MVP.
Kawhi Anthony Leonard, a player who just won the MVP of the 2014 finals. He was a rising star for the San Antonio Spurs, and he showed out on the biggest stage, and he, along with the San Antonio Spurs, beat the Big Three Miami Heat. He played great defense, he was able to score at an impressive rate, he became a champion and was on top of the world. It seemed like the sky was the limit, and he had earned everyone's respect. But there was someone who had other ideas.
Is being analyzed by other greats. Kevin Durant to speak. He's weighing in on Kawhi Leonard on his skill set, and he took it to Twitter. Doing work like this because of the system. Put Paul George on the Spurs. What would happen?
A system player, a Finals MVP who had a great performance in the finals, and that is what Kawhi was labeled as, a system player. Was it disrespectful? Yes. Was it shallow to do after he lost to the Spurs in the conference finals? Yes. But little did KD know, he would regret that later. Kawhi Leonard would soon turn into a superstar in the next 3 seasons, bumping up his scoring averages, slowly becoming the leader of the Spurs, becoming one of the best defenders in the league, and winning Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row, becoming an All-Star, an All-NBA player, and was now one of the best players in the league. We then arrived to the 2017 season, where the Spurs are the second seed in the Western Conference, led by Kawhi, and he was having the best season of his career. He was top 3 in MVP voting, and there was no end in sight, or so we thought. The Spurs would battle their way to the conference finals, where they would match up against the juggernaut of a team, the Golden State Warriors. And in game 1, they were dominating them. It was no contest. It seemed like the Spurs were going to run away with this game. And it looked like the Warriors may have met their match. But then...
And he's in pain again in front of the Spurs bench.
Kawhi stepped on Zaza Pachulia's foot, and his season was over, and the Spurs' hopes for a title were gone with it, as they would come back in Game 1 to seal a win and then proceed to get swept by the Warriors. There was hope for the Spurs as they could rebound and come back in the next season stronger and get their revenge on the Warriors, but then something went wrong. Kawhi was absent for the majority of the 2018 season, and he only played 9 games with the team. Everyone expected for him to play the season, but he was not ready. And that is when things just got worse from there, because he wouldn't play in the playoffs either, and they were matched up with yet again the Warriors, and it was not pretty. And then came the summertime when this bombshell dropped.
Breaking news! Kawhi Leonard wants out of San Antonio.
That came out of nowhere. That was when Kawhi wanted out of San Antonio. We did not know why, we did not know what his reason was, but he did. And on July 18th, he got what he asked for.
The deal is final. Raptors and Spurs are getting on a trade call with the league office momentarily to finalize the deal.
Kawhi was now a Toronto Raptor. He was now in the Eastern Conference and in a new country. The Toronto Raptors before Kawhi got there were a team that wanted to compete for a title, and they came close so many times. There was just one problem. They had to deal with LeBron James.
James on the drive!
Took them 2 shots to make the shot from the tunnel.
Oh, LeBron! Used to hit the free throw, 6 for 7. Oh. Irving, off the back. Throws up the floater. Good night, Cleveland!
But the good news was for them, LeBron was now a Laker and out of the Eastern Conference. So now there was a chance for the Raptors to compete for a title. And the league did not know what was in store for Kawhi in 2019. Because he had a whole year to heal up, and he was ready to come back. Kawhi in 2019 was something to behold in of itself. He looked like an even better version of himself, and there was no one able to stop him. The Raptors were finally looking like a team that could compete for a title, and Kawhi was the key to making that happen as long as he stayed healthy. Kawhi was once again an All-Star, an All-NBA player. He was statistically again having the best season of his career, and was back in talks for being the best player in the league. But it was now playoff time, and Kawhi was ready to become a champion once again, but this time as the undisputed best player on the team. The Raptors would play the Orlando Magic, and it would be no match for the Raptors and Kawhi, as they would just dispose the Magic in 5 games, and Kawhi was amazing in that series without question. However, the next round was a dogfight. Their opponent was the 76ers that had Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and Tobias Harris, a team that had championship aspirations, and they were most definitely hungry. Game 1, the Raptors would win off of a 45-point performance from Kawhi Leonard as he was unstoppable and the Sixers had no answer. Game 2 went to the Sixers, and then Game 3 went to the Sixers as well, and it was now a 2-1 series lead, and it looked like maybe the second round curse was going to happen once again for the Raptors. But then Kawhi and the Raptors would manage to go up 3-2 in back-to-back wins off of the efforts of Kawhi and Siakam, as they were no match for the Sixers defense, and now it was do or die for Philly. And Philly was able to win Game 6 and force a Game 7. And this Game 7 was one of the best games in NBA history. Both teams went back and forth, and it was going down to the wire, and it was tied at 90 apiece. We knew who the ball was going to. This was his moment. This was Kawhi's moment, but was he going to finally take it? If he didn't, I wouldn't be making this video now, would I?
Game series. Toronto has won.
The Raptors won on a 1 in a million shot from Kawhi, and it was a shot I still remember to this day. And he had one of the best Game 7 performances ever. And because of him, the Raptors were now back in the Eastern Conference Finals. And their matchup was none other than the Milwaukee Bucks, which were led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks would manage to go up 2-0 in the series, and it seemed like their chances were yet again gone. But Kawhi was able to lead the Raptors to overcome a 2-0 deficit and win the series in 6 games. Kawhi would outperform Giannis in every way, and he proceeded to do this in the closeout game.
Behind him, gets to Leonard. And Drake.
Kawhi straight up embarrassed Giannis in that series, and it was definitely a disappointing series for Giannis. But in the end, he did walk away with the MVP. But the Raptors, for the first time in their franchise, were able to finally make their way to the NBA Finals and overcome the obstacles, and Kawhi was able to be that guy to lead the team there. But there was one more challenger in their way, and it was a team that Kawhi had history with. The Golden State Warriors. The last time the Warriors played Kawhi Leonard, he had a series-ending injury, was robbed of a chance at winning another championship, but now was a second chance to get his revenge and redemption against them. The Warriors, while not having Kevin Durant on their roster, were still at a fighting chance, and they were the favorites heading into this series.
Toronto versus the Golden State Warriors. Who you got?
The Warriors in 6.
I'm going to say Golden State in 6 as well.
I'm going to go Golden State if KD is healthy.
I'm going with the Warriors.
In
6.
So we arrive at Game 1, and Pascal Siakam was the hero of Game 1 as he was killing the Warriors and torching Draymond Green the whole game, dropping 34 points in his debut. Game 2 was down to the wire, and even though Kawhi Leonard was keeping the Warriors in the game, it was decided on a 3 by Andre Iguodala to win the game and tie the series. But due to some injuries that happened in Game 2, Curry was flying solo and dropped 47 points against the Raptors, but even that was not enough for them as the Raptors as a team were just killing the Warriors without Klay Thompson and Durant. Game 4, it seemed like a game that the Warriors would have in the bag as they were up in the game up until the third quarter, where Kawhi caught fire and he and the Raptors dominated in the second half, proceeding to go up 3-1 in the series. So the Raptors were up 3-1 in the series against the Warriors, and it seemed like the Raptors might run away with the championship. But then there was a halt as KD was finally making an appearance in the finals. And the Warriors looked like a different team in that game. It looked like the Warriors could come back from a 3-1 deficit if KD was now back on the team, or so we thought.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant's limping. Durant goes down holding his leg. Ibaka goes up, and Durant grabbing that right leg.
Torn right Achilles and was out for the rest of the season. Warriors just managed to lose KD yet again, and he wasn't coming back. But somehow the Warriors managed to win Game 5 and force a Game 6 on their home floor. Were the Raptors going to blow a 3-1 lead or bring a title back to the 6? The Warriors were actually ahead in this game, and Klay was having his Game 6 moment, and the Raptors were unable to contain him. It looked like the Warriors were gonna have a chance at coming back from 3-1, but then
running the floor and a foul. Klay Thompson obviously in some pain.
Torn ACL and gone for the rest of the season. And the Warriors' title dreams as well. The Warriors tried their best to put up a fight, and it did go down to the wire, but Kawhi and the Raptors managed. The Warriors would lose the finals, and the Raptors would win Game 6 and be crowned NBA champions for the first time in franchise history.
That's it. There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
And our MVP, your 2019 Bill Russell Finals MVP, is Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard was able to bring a title to the Raptors. He was finally able to win as the guy on the team and not a system player, quote unquote. He had one of the greatest runs in playoff history, and that title made him the best player to play for the Raptors in franchise history. Kawhi Leonard's journey from being a raw prospect to now an all-time great was something to behold. We all saw the potential with Kawhi being on the Spurs, him coming from a winning franchise, from Tim Duncan to Manu Ginobili to Tony Parker, and we saw him being able to transition from that to an all-time great. And when people were questioning if the man was a system player, if he could be the guy on a championship team, and if he could be a great leader, this is how he responded.